Welcome back everybody to another EICMA video. We've been here for 2 days now covering all the best new motorcycle releases. And now look, I've always loved the Indian FTR line of bikes. Loads of power, loads of torque, loads of features, a really aggressive and fun bike to ride. But there's some new choice updates for 2023. And so let's go and have a look at the new lineup and find out what's new. So we've still got a 4-model lineup, and the base one is this, the FTR. That's its entire name, just the Indian FTR, and this is the kind of least tricked out spec, but still look at it, it's a really nice looking bike and it gets the basics which are really good. So it's a 60-degree V-twin, 1200cc, 120 horsepower, 120 newton meters of peak torque. It's really lively on the throttle, and so it's such a fun bike to ride. Now you get Sachs suspension on this. I think it's fully adjustable as well, so you can see the forks at the top there are adjustable, and then you've got the monoshock off to one side. You've got Brembo brakes too, so 4-part radially mounted calipers at the front there, nice and beefy, and also a Brembo radial master cylinder, so really good mechanical spec. It's just on the electronics front that this one is a lot more dialed back than some of the other models. And it's worth adding that the FTR, of course, is flat track inspired, so it used to come with a 19-inch front wheel and 18-inch rear, but last year, the previous year model to this, they swapped the road bias versions for 17-inch wheels, so much better road handling and a much better choice of sticky, sporty tires, which suits the nature of this bike. Now over here, we've got the FTR Rally. I had this bike as a long-term loaner earlier this year, and I really enjoyed it. It does sit a little bit taller. It's meant to be a scrambler inspired take on this platform, so you've got a little more travel in the suspension, you've got a little bit more ground clearance, you've got taller bars for that scrambler riding position. This one does retain the 19-inch front wheel, the 18 rear, so a little bit better rolling off-road, spoked as well, so they should be more robust, and you get the Pirelli Scorpion STR tires, so they're pretty good on the road actually, but also that extra bit of knobbliness does give them a little bit of off-road capability there, certainly decent for gravel riding and such. This one gets a little bit of a makeover, so you've got the steel trellis frame, which I think is absolutely beautiful. You've got the steel trellis swing arm as well. You can see they've finished it in like a sand color this year, and also there's a new finish on the tank, a new detail and pattern on the saddle there, and then all of the 4 models get a new exhaust design, so it's like a twin exit exhaust. I think they call it a sport muffler, very American, but yeah, clearly this is the one to go for if you do want to take it off-road, or if you like that retro scrambler style. Now we're going to jump right to the top of the lineup, and this is the Indian FTR R Carbon. So as you can see, this is absolutely top spec. Not only do you get full-on Öhlins suspension, so you can see the Öhlins fork there, we've got an Öhlins shock at the rear, so much improved in terms of suspension performance versus the standard FTR over there. You get a nice new design on the seat here, but also this carbon bodywork on the tank, on the headlight shroud, on the front mudguard. There's loads to go out here, and it really does look super premium. Now, this bike was available last year, but it does get a color update, so you've got some nice silver rims, gold Öhlins forks, and then some silver detailing on the side of the tank here, and then some gold pinstripes, so it all kind of ties together nicely. But the big update for this year is that there used to be the FTR S, which sat in between the base FTR and the Carbon in terms of spec. You know, it's a little bit premium, but not super top price like the Carbon. That model's kind of gone, and now it's replaced by this, which is the FTR Sport. So you've got a bit of a different shape on the bodywork here. You've got new color options. You can see there's a white one over there, this black one here, and also some of the stuff like the fly screen or headlight shroud at the front, and this seat cover at the back is new as well. But there are also some more substantial changes that are less sort of superficial. So a big one being the new TFT display. This is specific to the Rally, the Sport, and the top model, the Carbon. So you get this round TFT dash. It used to be just an analog clock on the Rally, so obviously this is going to bring a lot more functionality. But also the FTRS and the Carbon used to get a rectangular dash, which looked a little bit out of place on this slightly retro flavored bike, so I think this suits it a lot better. Now I've tried this dash out on their cruiser bikes, or at least something very similar, so stuff like the Chief has a similar size of round TFT display, and it really is very good on the road. It's nice and easy to read. It's got a bit of a retro layout. You can have it with an analog looking Speedo, but also in there you've got their ride command functionality, so you can pair it with your phone and control media and phone calls and that sort of thing and it has built-in navigation, so no need to pair with your phone and get data from your phone. You can actually just use the built-in features of the dash in order to navigate, which is nice and convenient sometimes if you don't want to bother hooking up your phone. On top of that, you got 3 riding modes, so Sport, Standard and Rain. Again, that's specific to the Rally, the Sport and the Carbon. The base FTR doesn't get the riding modes, it gets an analog clock as well. It doesn't get any of these features. But yeah, clearly what you're gonna get from the Rain riding mode is more intervention from the traction control and ABS and a slightly less intense throttle map. They do get cornering TC and ABS as well, so that's a nice feature for this kind of sporty bike, especially if you do like to go out and ride in the wet. Now, we already talked about that new exhaust design, so all 4 bikes get that. We've also got a change to the way that the clock is positioned, so they've lifted it up so it's more in your field of view when you're riding the bike. There's a new clutch, which they say has a better feel to it and better performance, again, across all 4 models. And then perhaps a nice tweak is that the braking setup, although it looks really good, you know, it's got those 4-pot radial Brembo calipers at the front on nice big discs, twin discs, and also the radial master cylinder as well. It did lack a little bit of feel, perhaps. It didn't quite have the bite that you might expect from such a well-spec'd braking setup, so they have tweaked it and tuned it a little bit differently. I don't know if it's pad materials or something like that, but they say that the braking performance has been improved, so I'll look forward to trying that out actually on the road. But yeah, I think for me, one of the most exciting changes is that new visual look. We've got a lot more color across the lineup. It used to have that flat tracker vibe, and they used a similar design across all the models, but you know, you've got the Carbon version, you've got these sport versions with the extra bodywork, the seat cover and the fly screen, and even the base FTR's got more popping colors. We've got one over there with orange wheels and stuff like that. So for me, the looks have come on quite a bit, and I think there's something for everybody in this lineup now, with the Rally, the base model, the Carbon's really bling, and this one's quite nice to look at as well. As for pricing though, they are certainly on the premium end of things. So I think the base FTR is $12,995 in the UK. The Rally's $14,995. The FTR Sport is also $14,995. And then I think the Carbon is $16,695. So it really is quite a lot of money. You're getting a lot of bike, but yeah, you could buy some pretty sweet rides elsewhere with that sort of cash. I will say though, it's quite a unique looking bike, isn't it? And it's a unique riding experience as well. And so if it does take your fancy, then some of these updates, like the new dash, are probably going to compound your interest in it. As always, let me know what you think of the bike down in the comments below. A massive thanks for watching all of our EICMA coverage. That's pretty much it for now. There's Motorcycle Live coming up in a couple of weeks, so we'll bring you plenty of bikes from there, so do stay tuned. If you missed any of the EICMA videos, you'll see them in the playlist that I've linked to here. We've had an amazing time in Milan. Can't wait to come back next year. A massive thanks to Juan for doing my camera work. And yeah, thanks to you for watching. Peace.